Hey guys, and welcome to the first of what we intend to be a new monthly feature, which we're calling, I guess, Monthly Favorites. It's the thing like every beauty vlogger does, and but I figured, hey, this doesn't have to be a thing that just beauty vloggers do, where they talk about the things they really liked in a given month. We can do it too, except instead of talking about makeup products, because none of us use many makeup products, we're just gonna talk about the media that we consumed and really enjoyed in the past month, in July, like movies, comics, TV shows, books, stuff like that, and that we think you should check out. So kicking it off, I just got back from San Diego Comic-Con, and one of the things I picked up there was the swanky convention-exclusive hardcover edition of God Country, the Image series that came out earlier this year and recently wrapped up by Donnie Cates, who is a buddy of mine, and drawn by Jeff Shaw. And I just literally finished this last night. It's a 6-issue miniseries. You can also get it in trade paperback at any comic store or wherever. And it's basically like a mix of sort of Texas family drama and Kirby-style, like, cosmic mythology. It's about this old guy who has Alzheimer's and his son and his family trying to figure out what to do with him, and then through events he gains possession of this like mythological sword from this ancient race of gods that basically heals him and restores his memory, and so he no longer has Alzheimer's, and he doesn't want to give up the sword because then he'll have to return to not knowing what his name is and who his family is. And so while all these other gods are trying to come and get the sword back, it's great. It's genuinely moving, and the artwork is really rad. There's just it looks amazing. It's exciting. It's got everything. And yeah, they're I'm not surprised after reading this that of course Marvel snatched these guys up after this came out. So go check this out. It's one of my favorite comics I've read so far this year.
I haven't read it, but we were flipping through it right before doing this, and the sword is fucking huge, and it looks really cool. It looks really cool, and the artwork looks great.
And it's got a sort of Sean Murphy thing going on.
There's I can see in his artwork a bit of Sean Murphy and a bit of Olivier Coipel, who has drawn a lot of Thor and stuff in recent years. He's doing Marvel's really big guys.
My beer is leaking.
Jake's
I'm
back.
all good.
He got a little wet.
Right, don't, word to the wise, this is probably common sense for a lot of people, don't wrap your entire mouth around the lip of a beer bottle.
Wait, what do you mean, why not?
Because when you do a sip and your whole mouth
Do
around
it? Do it?
No, I'm not gonna make it leak again.
I want to see you.
Like this.
Yeah.
So don't
what
do
does that do, though?
I don't know, but, I don't know how it works.
So my next thing that I really liked in July was an old movie, old as in 30 years old. So for the first time, have you guys ever seen 3 O'Clock High?
No.
I've never even
Wait.
heard of it.
That's the one where he's gonna fight that bully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
Yeah.
I'm amazed this is not better known because it's a late 80s teen comedy, but it's got a sort of proto Edgar Wright visual style. It's shot by Barry Sonnenfeld, who was the Coen brothers DP for their first several movies until he went off to direct The Addams Family and Men in Black.
Yeah.
It has a score by Tangerine Dream.
Really?
Yeah. And this movie,
Does this where they knock the bookshelves over?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Three O'Clock High is so cool because it's just, it's like a high school comedy, but the visual style is hyperkinetic, and it's way ahead of its time because this was not a hit when it came out, but it's so well made. The visual comedy is so good. This was a movie that was straight up my alley. I like teen comedies a lot. I like hyperkinetic, visually exciting, comedic things, and this movie was a blast. Next thing I really enjoyed, which I know I talked to you guys about, the HBO comedy special Tour de Pharmacy, the sort of the 40-minute mini fake documentary sports thing about the Tour de France that has Andy Samberg and a trillion other people in it. and like the follow up to 7 Days in Hell, the tennis one that they made.
Including John Cena, right?
Yeah, it's got John Cena, Orlando Bloom, Daveed Diggs from Hamilton. The opening scene has Orlando Bloom's character. While in the race, his heart explodes and he dies like mid-race, and it's so funny. Also, the thing is, since it's 40 minutes long, the comedy is so tight. Like that could have been like a 2-hour mockumentary, but instead it's just like 40 minutes of like non-stop laughs, and then it's done. Also, there's a scene where J.J. Abrams shows up and talks about how Joanna Man is one of the greatest films of all time.
Good.
And
Good that's back in the
it's
limelight.
Bringing Joanna Man back. Anyway, it's great. It's on HBO Go and Now and any of those things that you can watch HBO programming. No, the last thing that I want to say, which is almost pointless because I'm going to recommend a thing that like everybody saw anyway. I really love Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Wow.
You're shocked, right?
Really on a limb there.
I know.
With your crowd.
Yeah, and I saw it for a second time a few days ago, and I really, really like this movie.
Question, I haven't seen it yet. Is there a homecoming dance?
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. That
That's
just
kinda
needed to
cool.
justify the
I
title.
kind of like that, yeah.
I wasn't sure
Yeah.
if there was no homecoming dance, but then the title had like some other meaning.
It's still an odd title. It's like...
It is. It doesn't...
Also, the
Well,
Homecoming...
it does because you went to the homecoming.
What Homecoming does not... It's not like the whole movie... Well, the thing is, this... Part of what I loved about it is that it's very much like a teen movie.
Right.
It, like, the whole thing is based around... It's like a teen movie, and then there are some superhero elements.
Right, but homecoming is like a colon blank for the end of,
Right.
the word Spider-Man doesn't make me want to go see it more. Like,
yeah.
say...
I do wonder if part of that was like
Yeah.
like an almost like a weird in-joke where it's like because Marvel got the rights back and got to make the movie, and it's like he came home. And
I think they're just doing intra-transnational conglomerate jokes to each other.
that would be weird, but like I don't know, maybe they'll call the next one Spider-Man Prom. But that's also a dumb
or like
title.
Spider-Man, we got him back. Spider-Man, get that money machine printing for us only.
but basically this so the big things about this movie for me were that my like favorite superhero comics run of all time is the 2000s run by Brian Bendis and Mark Bagley on Ultimate Spider-Man. I got the first issue when I was 12 years old and like read it all through high school and college. And it is like my definitive Spider-Man run is like just the superhero comics run I'm most attached to. And this was so heavily inspired by that I just love that so much. Like Spider-Man 2 by Sam Raimi is still the best Spider-Man movie, but this is the closest to my ideal take on the character. And also it is directed and co-written by my like early internet filmmaking heroes, where I don't know if anyone ever watched the Waverly Films videos, but those were what I was into like before I even like really watched YouTube videos back in like my like sophomore year of college. I've been an obsessive fan of those for years. They're like still some of my favorite things on YouTube, and I have been rooting for those guys since they were like younger than I am now. And the fact that like these guys who like were like the sort of my inspiration for getting into making YouTube videos have now graduated to like making like a Spider-Man movie and just crushing it. That makes me so happy. And in the same way that their videos were hilarious, this movie is genuinely really funny. I love the cast. I love all these characters. I love these kids. I want to watch like 10 movies with like these teens. Also like Hannibal Buress is the gym teacher. Martin Starr is the academic decathlon coach.
Awesome.
Like they just stacked this thing with like amazing, funny people. And
Comedic heavyweights is the teaching staff at this school. I
it's
really like that.
it's great. And like Michael Keaton is so good as the villain.
Uh-huh.
And it's just like it is a delight. It just made me it's not the best movie I've seen all year, but it made me happier than almost anything I've seen. So you can see that in theaters now. I'm done talking, and so now let's toss it over to Jake.
What's up, guys? Jake here. I brought actually some visuals with us. This is what I ended up reading for the month of July. We got some bleak stuff, both fiction and nonfiction.
I feel like this should just be like Jake's book club section.
Yes, this is my book club.
It feels weird.
Funny calling it Jake's book club because this was a book recommended by the Oprah Winfrey book club back in 2006. And
Familiar with
Oprah Winfrey?
Miss Oprah Winfrey.
One Miss Oprah Winfrey, I can't even say the name properly,
Bees.
recommends The Road by Cormac McCarthy. Guys, if you want to read something that is just, I don't even know how to describe this.
One of the most celebrated books of the 21st century.
Winner of the Pulitzer Prize in 2006.
Did it really win the Pulitzer?
It did. This book is for the people that want to read something where there's lots of descriptions about fog and canned food and foraging for it in abandoned houses with some cannibalism peppered in
50
here and
Shades
there.
of Grey, more like 50 descriptions of the color variations of the color gray.
Thanks, Cormac. This book is really great, but it's so sad. So there you go. The Road by Cormac McCarthy. I recommend that one.
Wait, have you seen the movie?
I haven't seen the movie. Here's the other thing. I haven't seen the movie, and I plan on watching it now. I actually just finished this book.
And when are we getting a Blood Meridian movie?
Second up, depressing in a different way. I just picked up this book. Shout out to the author Lisa Ann Gershwin, who is a expert on jellyfish. This book is called Stung, and is about the...
I'm sold because it has an exclamation point in the title.
Stung! Exclamation point. Ouch. So this book is about the fact that jellyfish are taking over the oceans because they are what could be more informally described as a weed species, which is capable of taking advantage of the ways that we are overfishing and polluting the environment as it currently stands, and jellyfish fit right into that vacuum that we leave. So get ready for more blooms of jellyfish and more stings, and this book is... this book, I have, despite the fact that I'm not selling this book well at all, I heavily recommend it. She's a great writer.
Jake, tell me, have you been stung by a jellyfish?
I have been stung by a jellyfish many times.
Oh.
Yeah, me too, yeah.
I never have.
And, hey, fun thing for this book, if you don't just like boring text, we also have images in here.
There's pictures, guys. Don't worry.
It's a picture book.
Wow, look
And
at
you
that
can see
one.
all the different types of jellies that they got. And,
Bring it close. Bring it closer.
Let's
to
bring
them.
this close. Look at the diverse shapes and colors and forms here.
And Jake, tell our viewers, where did you get these books?
The library. Don't ever forget that place exists.
It's a
because,
free
look,
resource for free books.
It's free knowledge.
Expand your mind and pay nothing.
Woman in the Dunes by Hiroshi Teshigahara. I totally recommend this movie because it's just absolutely batshit crazy. It's based off of a book by Japanese author Kobo Abe, and I would recommend this book to anybody who's a fan of Haruki Murakami, who's a much more well-known Japanese writer, and he wrote stuff like Norwegian Wood and Kafka on the Shore and the Wind-Up Bird Chronicle.
People know Murakami.
There we go.
Wait, but where can people watch this movie?
You can watch it on Filmstruck, which is a great service.
Filmstruck.
Yes.
What, can they sponsor this channel?
I would-
Filmstruck would be a great sponsor.
I would love them to. They're such a great service, and they just opened up their streaming service in November of this past year, so they're not even a full year old yet.
Yeah,
And,
I just want a free membership. That's it.
My last recommendation, and this one is a shout out to George Romero, who died this month.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. After I had heard the news, I wanted to just watch something because you sort of look at his filmography and you realize there's so many things that he directed that I actually hadn't seen. So I went on to Hulu, and the one that they had available to watch was a movie called Monkey Shines.
Which I've been meaning to watch for years.
And Monkey Shines, and I'm going to use the pun, is bananas. And...
Do you think the movie poster had some film critic like Gene Shalit must have said this movie is bananas?
I hope so. I hope somebody...
I wish Mr. said like bananas.
You know what would be funny if in Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs they did a joke about Gene Shalit, and he was a shallot with the same facial hair and glasses.
I feel like to do this movie service, I do need to give it like a little bit of a synopsis. So
It's got a great premise.
it's a great premise. So man gets in a horrific accident. He gets hit by a truck on a morning run and becomes quadriplegic, and so he can only move around in this house on a wheelchair by controlling a little lever with his mouth. And so he has a crazy friend who just coincidentally happens to be involved in the genetic manipulation of monkeys and tries to inject them with super intelligence serum. And so he gets it in his head. He's like, you know what? My buddy just became quadriplegic. I think the best thing I could do for him is give him a intelligence serum injected monkey as a companion in the house. And
Sound
things,
logic.
Things
Before
go
there were
well.
smartphones, guys, there were smart monkeys.
And things go well for a little bit, and then we realize that the monkey is so smart that he's actually the monkey is a girl in the movie. The monkey starts enacting the angry, vengeful fantasies that the man has in his own head. Because the monkey, I guess, is capable of mind reading, and so goes out and starts murdering the people that he is angry at.
Jake, the majority of language is nonverbal.
There we go. She's getting some nonverbal cues. But you should totally watch it because of just how bonkers the premise is.
It's also kind of a big deal because, one of the big things about Romero was how, he, in his movies, he sort of had, greater representation of, than, most other movies. Night of the Living Dead is, a landmark in sort of just, the handling of race in movies. And Monkey Shines is also a very rare movie to have a disabled lead character, a quadriplegic lead character.
That's true.
Which is it's not a whole lot of movies can claim that.
Yeah.
They can't. This movie, not a lot of whole other movies can claim this other aspect to it, which is, and I cannot spoil it because you just have to see it for yourself. This ties into the fact that the main character is quadriplegic, but it has one of the weirdest sex scenes I've ever seen in a movie. He doesn't fuck the monkey, but I won't spoil anymore. After I watched this movie, it was so insane that I obviously had to read about it. And I found out this was Romero's first foray into big studio filmmaking.
So he finally got a big budget and is like, I'm going to do this.
And it was a terrible experience for him. He basically I think he had a darker ending in mind, of course, and the studio made a really weird, forced happy ending. I will also say this, if you're a fan of the Alien movies, this movie has, before Alien Covenant, there was a backburster scene in this movie involving a monkey ripping out of somebody's spine.
That's so good.
And,
what?
And I won't tell you the context of it because that will make it more fun.
That's so good.
I am so, I'm going to watch that this week. All right, so last and least, we got Matt Torpy.
You're a dead man. Don't go to sleep tonight.
Matt.
You won't wake up.
Matt, in the month of July, what did you watch or read and enjoy?
Okay, first off, guys, I've got my literary recommendations.
These guys are so well read and make me look like such a dullard and dummy.
Well, no, prepare to not be feeling that badly because I can't remember the name of the director of the movie that I'm about to recommend or one of the authors.
Okay.
Because they are both Japanese and I'm just not going to butcher it. But
just use Google. We all got it.
Yeah. There's a book called A Personal Matter. It's about a shitty Japanese father whose wife is about to gives birth to a baby with a birth defect, and he slowly backslides into his horrible, kind of apathetic, existentialist ways, and by abdicating responsibility, hopes that the baby will die in the hospital, and it just goes through his whole process of coping with that, which is very, very bleak.
How long is it set over?
It's a couple weeks, and the book is maybe 200 pages long. It's really brutal and really good, so I recommend that.
What's it called again?
It's called A Personal Matter. The only two other ones I have are a phenomenal book that I love called Rising Up, Rising Down, Some Thoughts on Violence, Freedom, and Urgent Means by William T. Vollman. Now, this is the abridged version, which is 700 pages.
That's the abridged version?
This is a 7-volume, 25-year epic study of instances of violence and a sort of moral calculus at the end that Volman has been working on for a huge chunk of his life. This is a super abridged one, so I'm kind of weak. I'm sorry, but
All you Volman fans out there that are just scoffing
but
at Matt's
if you like
abridged
this,
text.
I'm gonna get the volumes eventually. This is amazing and very eye-opening. And then I don't know whether to recommend this or not yet. I'm only kind of halfway through, but Camille Paglia's Sex, Art, and American Culture. I'm reading this just because so many people don't like her, and she has some very, very controversial opinions about feminism and the rape debate, and so she has been recently getting in the rounds again because she has a very contrarian opinion about stuff.
Do you not agree with her views, but does she argue them well?
She goes too far, and she's confident in a way that I find non-charismatic, but she makes some important points that make her not someone you should write off.
Diplomatic answer.
Very diplomatic.
That's
well,
all I can be.
well put.
Yeah.
So, like, if you can't tell, Matt reads more books than me, definitely, than Jake, possibly.
I would argue most people.
Than most people I know.
Most people I know.
Can't.
Matt's the reader of the group.
That's a horrible thing to be called. Because it sets up this whole line of expectations that anyone viewing who's like, I'm a reader.
Yeah, no,
And it's
they're
just,
like,
and now we're
yeah.
like fighting, or now we're in like a sort of combative, competitive stance.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's the thing that's
I'm
always
sorry.
freaked me out about just, like, being well-read. It's just the, like, oh, well, have you read this? And
I would
like,
love
oh,
to
then you
talk. I
must have
love
read
talking
this.
about this stuff, but I'm not one of these people that's like scornful of anyone who's missing some sort of.
You're not going to be the guy with the ponytail in the bar in Good Will Hunting.
You read your Gordon Wood. You memorize your stats from your Gordon Wood. How you like them apples?
Boy's
so-
wicked smart.
He's wicked smart.
Was your Howard Zinn or whatever?
You read your Howard Zinn.
Yeah, it's Matt Damon's like, you know, next time you want to get some true education, why don't you flip open a couple pages of Howard Zinn, fucking blow your mind.
Fucking blow your mind.
I'll see you around. I'll see you around. Otherwise, we can go out back in the dumpster and just fucking punch each other in the face until we die.
All right, I'm not gonna do your fucking chaos math. All right.
Chaos I ain't gonna do none of your chaos military man.
For those of you watching, this is a very good representation of what it's like when we try to shoot a video.
Movies I watched. There's one that I very highly recommend called Pastoral, A Death in the Country.
Another Japanese film.
It's a Japanese movie. Sorry, I don't remember the director's name. My only selling point for that is 1974. Amazing movie. If you like Charlie Kaufman and think he's a genius, or like just a big fan of his methods of storytelling, this is better than a lot of his movies, and it came way before he ever made a movie or wrote a script, and it's a sort of coming of age tale, and it's really, really good.
And where can people find that movie?
I don't know.
YouTube, I think.
Other than that, I don't know, because I do a podcast about kids movies, so I watch a lot of 90s kids movies. So I watched Warriors of Virtue recently. That movie's bad.
Matt and another member of our team, Kendra, have a podcast called The Kids Table that I will put a link to down there. If you haven't listened to it before, you should. It's a lot of fun as they grapple with the difficult feelings of revisiting movies from childhood that may not hold up. And I'm excited because months ago I urged them to watch Warriors of Virtue, which I've never seen but was curious about. And finally, in last week's episode, they did it. But yeah, that concludes the first installment of our monthly favorites. We'll be back here after August to talk about what we read, what we watched.
How much we sweat that month.
Yep.
It's gonna be hot.
Oh, it's gonna be basically. I plan on spending a lot of time in August indoors in air-conditioned buildings, watching movies, reading comics. Maybe I'll even read a real book because people keep asking. I don't want more comments about this. I thought the color grading in Spider-Man was slightly improved over the general Marvel color grading. That's
all he's gonna say.
That's all I'm gonna say about
These
it.
takes are hot.
It was an improvement.